Galnet News Digest, 4th of October 3304. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, bashing the bishop, the pointiest antenna in the galaxy, Betentacled Menace thinks twice, Triathlon hits the headlines. Bashing the bishop. Divisive political activist Juanita Bishop has suffered an unexpected change of fortune following the exoneration last week of the Far God cult by federal investigators. The Federal Intelligence Agency ended its investigation following an undercover investigation by Gethin Okonkwo, which revealed the Far God cultists as harmless and having no contact with the Thargoids. This in turn has led to a rapid decline in support for Ms. Bishop. Surprising, as right-wing voters rarely let facts get in the way of their beliefs, which in turn has led to her withdrawal from the race for the federal Congress. Miss Bishop now stands accused of violating federal laws guaranteeing freedom of religious expression and of fomenting civil unrest. Bishop remains unrepentant and issued a blistering statement to the media, branding Congress as fools and calling once again for what she described as Thargoid spies to be rounded up and executed, to help ensure public safety. However, her days as a mainstream politician seem likely to be over for good. The pointiest antenna in the galaxy. Following last week's Oktoberfest, which demonstrated that shooting wanted commanders is far more popular than supplying sausages and tasteless yellow lager, this week's appeal is for salty tears to be delivered to the Broadcast Cobra faction in HIP 16038. Broadcast Cobra, which diverged from Radio Sidewinder 2 years ago partly as a result of differences over whether it's acceptable to assassinate the station's listeners, and comes down quite firmly on the yes, listeners are only there to be assassinated side of that argument, intends to build a megaship that'll allow them to broadcast to the furthest reaches of the galaxy, allegedly further than other broadcasters could possibly reach. The station has not yet clarified whether its presenters will be actively destroying shipments of goods arriving in response to the appeal, but it seems likely that the HIP 16038 system could be quite lively over the coming week. Betentacled Menace thinks twice. Despite their recent deployment of far larger Hydra interceptors, the Thargoids seem this week to be beating a retreat in the direction of the Pleiades, with targets in Nauni and Baal, both of which have been previously targeted. Following an initial deployment of Hydras round the Gnosis, they appear to have been withdrawn from service for modifications before making a triumphant return to service over the past week. Both targeted systems have wrecked megaships near planet AB3, and of course the Aegis Acropolis and Vanguard are in attendance. Commanders are encouraged to take missions from the Aegis ships, as this may go some way to offsetting the massive rebuy and repair bills that result from taking on the Thargoids. Triathlon hits the headlines. The Buckyball Racing Club's current challenge, the Triathlon, received some welcome publicity today with the participation of 2 celebrities. The hugely complicated course is open to experienced buckyballers and foolhardy novices alike. It consists of an SRV race from Kulhas Folly, and then flying a ship-launched fighter through the habitation ring of a docked Majestic-class interdictor, through the access tunnel of a military installation, and then through the curved SRV perimeter tunnel of Kulhas Folly again, before landing the mothership back at the base. Demonstrating how complicated the course can be were famous rock musician Edward C. Lewis and pen and ink artist Will Rembrandt Flanagan, who's been creating vignettes for Inktober. The deadline for this edition of Galnet News came too early for the broadcast, but we can predict that following a long outfitting session during which the celebrities forgot to buy at least one essential item of equipment, they blew up their SRV, were attacked and destroyed by the Imperial Navy, were attacked and destroyed by pirates, and finally destroyed the remaining ship-launched fighter in the service access tunnel at Coolhouse Folly, finally clocking a race time marginally faster than Commander Elias Thane, the slowest SRV driver of all time. Next week, the dynamic duo will be demonstrating once again just how hard it is to shoot Thargoids. And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.